Deal decisively with IPOB members, they are proscribed, Inspector General of Police tells personnel. The IGP of Police, or the IGP Baba Usman, has urged the personnel of Delta State Police Command to deal decisively with any member of the indigenous people of Biafra. Usman handed down the charge on Monday in Asaba, Delta State, while on a one-day working visit to the command. He said policemen who would work in Delta could police any part of the country. If you're able to work in Delta, you can work in any part of the country. That's why we are creating more areas command divisions to bring police nearer to the people, he said. You are trying your best, but your best is not good enough. Anything that happens in Anambra State will affect Delta State, especially the Asaba. That is why you must prepare to deal with any criminal, especially IPOB group. There are spills over agitation or demonstration from Onitsha to Asaba. Brace up to IPOB challenge because it is a proscribed organization and treat them as such. It is unfortunate that #EndSARS started from Delta State. What? I'm now confused. What is he saying? Commanding officers and men of the command for their successes, Usman, who was the commissioner of police in the state between 2014 and 2016, urged them to improve on their crime-fighting efforts. He noted that the state government, local government, corporate entities and individuals have supported the commands enormously with provision of logistics, insisting that to whom much is given, much is expected. Yeah, of course, he's giving this directive and it will be followed. It has been followed prior to this message anyway, so I don't know how intense things are going to get for him to say these kind of things again. And it's the last statement for me. He says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I'm like, can the police really vouch and say that much is given to them? That would, because for the fact that the police have literally been mediocre for since the existence of Nigeria, they haven't really done anything. So it's like they've not been given anything that makes them feel like they should be responsible or like ensures their safety or ensures for their lives and their families as, public officers that have served the state, So yeah, it's obviously the hypocrisy of it all. I mean, how long I want to go through this? We know we're always repeating ourselves. Of course, it's the hypocrisy of the government. We know that, it's just illogical and it's unparalleled to call IPOB or prescribe it being a terrorist organization, and then you have bandits that want to be reintegrated and are pushed to be repentant so they can be reintegrated back into society. So again, we know all these things. It's frustrating. It's a cycle. This news is continuous. Nothing is changing, and Nigerians now have entered selfish mode like more than ever. The country has, allowed and forced Nigerians, to be selfish and look out for themselves. But right now, it's a different level. Everyone is trying to individually sort out themselves, sort out how they can live, or sort out how they can survive. I do not know. It is very unfair the Nigerian situation is. To the people of Delta State, again, I highly doubt they would be as violated. So when it comes to the Delta State, Onitsha, I'm not worried because they will always defend themselves. There's always a limit to how much the Nigerian police force can do. There is actually a limit. And they themselves, they know that if they push too far, it's not even IPOB, yes, and take them out of it. The states themselves will bring out, unlabeled militia groups, vigilante groups, unofficial ones that don't necessarily have a uniform or have an official name, and they will defend themselves. So if there's anything good about this, is that, listen, there's an extent to which they'll push. There is no way southeasterners or southerners would watch their people die without any just cause and just sit down there and just allow nothing to happen. So again, it's very much sad. It's repetitive. It's really getting it's just getting unproductive at this point, because it's like we're not trying to find solutions to this. There's no solution. Everyone is literally trying to sort out themselves and leave the country. So these conversations are just going to be conversations that lead to nowhere. So the question is, should we be having conversations like this, especially if, as the whole country, people are not really looking at making it better, or making, or whatever it is. There is no future for Nigeria. So it's not like, where do you stand? Is this self-agitation, or are you trying to leave the country? What would you decide for yourself? And you have to understand, with identities, you have yourself, you have your family, you have your friends, you have your identity like that. So again, it's not a decision you can make. It's not easy, because you are not the only stakeholder in your life if you have like family and stuff, in terms of making big decisions. So yeah, insecurity is brewing. The police is not helping. What else? So it's like all the comments here, it's the same thing. It is the same thing. It is repetitive. There is nothing different. It's always been the same thing of complaining of hypocrisy, complaining of how bad everything is, and it is absolutely true. But it's like, it's getting tiring. It's getting boring. Where is the conversation going? What's the point in having these conversations if no one is trying to work towards anything? And it's not like as if it's come from a judgmental place. Of course, you don't want to work through anything, because the country has not proven, or we're so divided that there's literally, we don't see any point in us fighting for Nigeria, because there's nothing worth fighting for. Because even as a continent itself, trying to look for help outside, if I don't look for international help, it should be from other African countries. But then they themselves are going through it as well. Some are even in worse positions. Some economically are in bondage by, neocolonialism. It's still on the rampant. I think Nigeria is probably still going through that. But it's just so much. The conversation is getting tiring. Everyone is selfish. And you know what? You can't blame people. You've got to do what you've got to do. So really and truly, the conversation we should be having now is Nigeria a lost cause? I mean, Nigeria is a lost cause for a lot of people, but the harsh reality is that not everyone is going to be able to leave. Not everyone's going to be able to have that privilege to find a better solution. But because the fact is that there will be people that are going to revolt, but then the question is, when will that time be? How frustrated are we going to become? When will we get there? That is the question. Are we not understanding that we should be in a sense, or we should treat everything with a matter of urgency? We don't know. But the fact is, insecurity is brewing. The government is not doing anything better. The only positive out of this is that there is no way Southerners, Southeasterners would allow for the government to infiltrate the community and literally rubbish them, and then they'd keep quiet. Absolutely not. So we can be confident that these people will defend themselves no matter what. So yeah, put what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe.